I'm Chef Mike Moses, and welcome to my kitchen. And welcome to my fried chicken episode. This is an episode that's kind of special to me because when I used to make fried chicken before, I did it in a frying pan. Got myself a nice deep fryer now. That puppy's heating up. We're going to actually double bread our chicken, make it nice and crispy. One thing that's very important, that's your brining of the chicken. I'll explain it all to you coming up in a moment. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. I'm back into the swing of things, and we're going to be posting new videos about every weekend right here on this channel. What do we need for my crispy fried chicken? Well, the first thing we need is chicken, and we need to brine it. And this has been brining for about 24 hours. I made the brine out of 1 liter of water, which is about 4 cups, and a 1/4 cup of salt, a 1/4 cup of sugar. Mixed it all up, got everything dissolved, and then put it right on top of the chicken. Stuck it in the fridge in a container for 24 hours. That way my chicken has the sweetness, has the salt to break down the fibers, and it's ready to go. But not into the deep fryer, not right away. We got to do some special things to it. So here's what we're going to need. 3 cups of all-purpose flour. We're going to need about 2 cups of 000 flour. We're also going to need a tablespoon of baking powder. We're going to need some cumin, some smoked paprika, some chipotle powder, some salt, some pepper. We're going to need about 3 cups of buttermilk, and that is for the middle dredge. Very important thing about cooking and deep frying chicken, you want your chicken to be almost room temperature so that you don't cool the oil down and just make it all soppy. This is going to be super crispy. All right, chicken is in the brine. Let's go. First thing we do with our chicken is take it out of the brine and we'll put it on a paper towel. We want to dry it off a little bit. Actually, we want to dry it off quite a bit. You don't want to eat brine. And what the brining does is help the proteins and the connective tissues break down a lot better. Got my chicken out of the brine and I'm just going to pat down, roll them down, take off the excess moisture. All right, that's the first piece. Now, once I've got the excess moisture off the chicken, I'm just going to move it aside here for a second. Take another bowl, add my 000 flour, which is very, very fine flour. I've got about 2 cups in there. And of course, with everything we season first. So we're going to season it with some kosher salt and some pepper. And it can be finely ground pepper, it can be coarsely ground pepper. I like using coarse setting on my mill just so that pepper gets to sit. There. So that's probably about a tablespoon of pepper. Get my spoon out so I can incorporate it all, mix it all up. And this is going to be our first dredge on the chicken. And what this does is actually soak up some of the excess moisture and also make the second coating stick a lot better. I use 000 because it's really a fine flour and it gets into all the nooks and crannies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dredge my chicken in the flour and then put it on the rack, and I'm going to let it dry for a little bit. So we take one of our chicken legs, remember top, bottom, all around, shake off the excess, and there's our first one done. I've got 9 pieces of chicken. You know what that means? Chef gets an extra piece. Yay! There was the first breading of the chicken. And of course, with 000 flour, it's very messy, gets all over the place, but that's half the fun. Okay, so we're letting the flour soak up all the moisture that's on the outside of the chicken. And the idea when we deep fry it is that we want to make it nice and crispy, so we don't want any moisture. Water equates to steam when you're deep frying, and that doesn't make for a very good chicken. So I'm going to set this aside. The next thing we're going to do is get the dredging flour set up. And the dredging flour is very easy. We get some smoked paprika, probably about a tablespoon. I want about a tablespoon of cumin. I want about a half a tablespoon, maybe actually I want about a teaspoon of chipotle. some salt and pepper. Lots of pepper. And about a teaspoon of baking powder. This is going to help with the levity. You may want to take your baking powder and depending upon the humidity in your area, you might want to grind it up a little bit. All right, so we've got our main dredge with all those gorgeous flavors in it. You know what? I think I'll add some thyme. What do you think? Fresh thyme? So we've got some fresh thyme here. So we're going to give it a coarse chop. Just make sure that all the leaves and everything are chopped up. This is going to fry up really fast. So this is probably a sprig and a half of fresh thyme. Put that in, mix it all around. And that's just the aromatic in the dredge. All right, it is time now to dunk and dredge our chicken. Okay, so the chicken has been resting probably for about 10 minutes. And as you can see that the flour is starting to get incorporated. Now what we're going to do is what's called the double dip technique. I'm going to dip it in the buttermilk and then into our main flour, and then I'm going to let it rest on a rack. And of course, using two hands, one wet, one dry, put my chicken in, dry it off, get it nice and coated, shake off the excess flour, and it sits on the rack. So one hand wet, one hand dry. And let the buttermilk drip off as well. Now the buttermilk's going to give it a tang, which is going to be really great. Always remember to shake off the excess flour and let it sit. We want to let this sit for about 10 minutes. And the reason we let it sit for 10 minutes is that the flour needs to soak up the buttermilk and it needs to get ready. My deep fryer says the green light's on, it's ready to go. The temperature is 350 degrees, but I always like to check it. And we'll just use my infrared thermometer and it shows me 350, perfect. So now I'm going to put the chicken in and I'm going to do it very slowly. The reason I want it to go in slowly is I want the crust to start to happen, but I don't want it all to clump together. In goes our pieces of chicken. One is in. 2, 3, my 9 pieces of chicken are in, and the reason why I bought a turkey deep fryer so I could do that. The little deep fryers I don't like to have because they're kind of hard to put all the chicken at once, and if I've got people sitting around looking for fries and stuff like that for a meal, I'd like to do everything at once. So the temperature in the oil, just in case you're wondering, it went down to 300, which is not too bad. My chicken was a nice temperature. So this is going to go for 15 minutes, and when we come back, we're going to have some golden, crispy fried chicken. Oh, look at that, golden, crispy, but it's very important we check the temperature. We want the internal temperature to be over 165 degrees. 165.8. Now, it's still going to cook for a little bit more. It's called residual cooking. But right now we'll just haul the chicken out because as you can see it is golden and crispy. I want to get it out fairly quickly because I do want to hit it with some salt, because when everything comes out of the deep fryer you immediately got to put some seasoning on it. All right, there's my 9 pieces of chicken. Give it a light dusting of kosher salt. And there you go. Buttermilk, crispy chicken, all set for a nice summer snack. Let this cool down, you can stick it in the fridge and it will stay crispy. And I'll just show you how crispy it is. Oh, man. Crispy, juicy. That's some good fried chicken. For more information on this recipe and more, head over to my website, www.chefmikemoses.com. You'll find I have a blog running there with the recipes that you can print off. I hope you enjoy this. I'm here to help you cook better, shop smarter, and eat healthier.